Hey, how you doing there, Portland? This is Ray Lane with Halfcast on TalkCastPDX.com. Happy Thursday, is it today? I got to catch up. Okay, so today's show titled Resolution. A few things happened over the weekend and through the week that I want to touch base on and talk about. Having come back from my little jaunt to Europe to get into myself and recharge, and then coming back here and listening to some of my past shows where I seem overly focused on other people and things outside of myself. I had come to the realization that it's okay to lose focus or discipline from me every now and then, and to have this biorhythm of energies and vibrations, and that's all right. But what I had noticed is an underlying tone of anger, and I've been aware of it for years. Subtle hostilities, anger, resentments, pettiness. And so I just started to meditate on that, really spend some more time in thought or no thought, and just letting those emotions and those feelings come up. And what is this? What is going on with you? You know, I noticed that I've spent a lot of energy, expelled a lot of energy that is much needed in here, out there since moving here to Portland. In Georgia and Atlanta, there was not a lot of need for the thought. It's a different energy, different vibe. But it's been wonderful here in Portland because it has challenged me in ways that I did not expect when I first came here. This city has challenged me on many levels that I had not had to deal with, and getting away for 24 days to Europe, different parts of Europe, and especially up in Scotland, and being around a different kind of people with a different outlook on life, a different way of talking to you, a different way of listening to you, interacting with you. And then coming back here, I said, I get it. In my first episodes, I was talking about, somebody had mentioned this passive aggressive energy here, and maybe I looked for it. Maybe I keyed in on it. I actually dated somebody who was, passive aggressive city. It's really just subtle little jabs and hits the whole time. And I was like, whoa, I just fell right into the whole program of passive aggressiveness and went looking for it. And, I see it. And it's the old adage that, you'll find enough evidence to support what it is you're believing or looking for out there, if that's what you go looking for. Case in point, 2 days ago, driving with my friend Jeff, we're just going to go have a little dinner at the Bricks with my favorite chicken pot pie. Yes, I broke my vegan lifestyle. Anyway, we're driving, leaving the house and making a right and driving. It's a 20 mile an hour speed limit, which is ridiculously low. Understood. So I'm doing 28. And brother pulls up behind us, angry, pissed off, raising his hands, flipping me off, just really upset. So I indicate and I pull over to let him go by. And he pulls up beside me, dreads, like he's got his hand on something underneath the, what's your, no, just pulling over. Have a nice day. Just pulling over to let you go. All that, and then speeds off and then makes a quick left. And we're driving for a minute after that. And Jeff's, he's just a normal dude. And I guess I'm not. And I look over at him and I'm said, if you weren't in this car right now, I would follow him, wait for him to get out of his car and see that he's not with it armed. And I'd probably challenge him. I'd probably walk up on him and say, okay, tough guy, now talk shit, And Jeff said, really? Really? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm that angry right now. I'm that pissed, you know? Um, he's like, wow, that's intense. I'm like, yeah. I said, that's why I no longer carry in the car, because had I been carrying with my piece in the side door, I'd have said, what are you going to do? If you're going to pull up on me like that and talk shit, pull something. Let's see who comes out on top. And that's when I realized, I'm listening to another host talking about weapons and guns and how to protect yourself and all these martial arts classes you can go to and self-awareness. And I'm laughing the whole time thinking, you have no clue. You think you're safe. You think you can carry a weapon. You think you can go to class and learn how to punch and kick. Who wants you, they'll get you. And it's usually when you're least expected, no matter how your situational alertness is. So people asked me years ago, why don't you teach self-defense classes for women specifically? And I remember saying, because one punch and it's all that lessons go out the window, because women's faces aren't designed for being hit. Let's put it, honestly, you can slug a guy in the jaw and he'll fight back. You slug a woman in the face, it's not a good thing. So no, I don't feel like teaching a group of women some sense of false security by teaching them how to use a little metal device to poke him in the eye or, anything. I had girlfriends that I would talk to about this, and I'd say, well, go ahead, do whatever you want. Choke me from rear naked, get a rear naked choke on me, do whatever you want. And they would grab me from and be the whole body and I just stand there like, let me know when you're done. And they were like, Jesus H. I was like, yeah, the difference between an athletic 220-pound dude trained, and most of these guys out there are pretty big or strong or whatever. I'd prefer to teach you other methods of how to minimize the damage. Anyway, so getting back to this guy, brother, angry. You could see the anger on him. And my initial reaction was to teach him a lesson. And so Jeff was like, wow, that's intense. I'm like, yeah, I really want to kick his ass. Like that would do something, like that would change something, like that would teach him something. And that's a part of the hostility and anger that I'm feeling coming back and rising up. I thought I had it handled, and was doing pretty well, but clearly there's some issues there. But what it did bring up for me was the opportunity to really examine, where's that coming from? This disappointment, like with the young girl who smoked marijuana and lost her chance to win a gold medal. And friends of mine like, sign this petition. Yes, I agree. The laws suck and the rules on marijuana are outdated. But I also am of the mind, if that's the law, that's the law. And yes, work on changing it. But if you break it, you still broke it. And other athletes have to abide by it, and they're doing that. So you're no one special. Abide by the damn law. So I'm thinking of this, all these thoughts of this aggression, hostility, and sometimes I feel like it's extra for people of the African American community, because one, I share that culture, and two, you expect, I hope for more. When they push you down, you rise up stronger. When they put alcohol, liquor stores in your neighborhood, and the CIA puts crack all throughout the neighborhoods, you rise up, you be better. We've always known you've got to be twice, if not three times better to win the job over a white person. So what changed? Stay that way, stay resilient, stay strong. We know the field, we know it's tilted, we know where we're at. So show some backbone and don't fight, don't resist, but stand up straighter, be stronger, be smarter, be faster. Because it's a dog eat dog, it's a jungle, whatever you want to, but no one's going to feel sorry for you. If you fall down and cry and go into fetal position, people are just going to walk over you. So that's not an option. Be strong. So whenever I am confronted with the those who have let anger um, control them and get a hold of them like that. And it's a bad look all the way around, because he's driving around Portland right now in his little Monte Carlo 78 into 88, whatever year it was, with his rims on, and, just fulfilling that stereotype that people, oh, yeah, that's, that kind of thing, which also, is something that causes me to become perturbed. I don't like people that represent the culture like that. And plus, you're scary, dude. You're really scary. Even to me, you pose a threat when you pull up beside my car and talk shit through your window, and all I'm doing is pulling over, getting out of your way. It's scary. But I realized that my reaction to want to kick his ass, and I can, and that's sometimes, like, I have the same problem with America. Just because you can blow up a country doesn't mean to say you should. Well, just because you can and have learned a lot of techniques in martial arts doesn't mean to say you should go around kicking people's asses. If anything, that prevented me from ever being violent, because it's never a good thing, right? But I got it in that moment of, like, fear that he could pull on me. Came that anger, came that hostility, that rage, that fight or flight mentality, which then made me think about all the Trump supporters and all the white power, those, I can't remember them all now, but the Boogaloo Boys and the Proud Boys and all these people are just kids who never grew up and are afraid, scared, and hopelessly lost in that fear, which then spirals and creates this anger that I felt temporarily 2 days ago. And then I understand on a deeper level what fear does and what it creates, and the illusion of separateness it creates. Them versus us, tribalism, all the things we've been seeing these last 4 or 5 years, 4 years for sure. So I meditated on it, and I thought about it, and I closed my eyes and I saw that guy, and I was like, love him, have compassion, understand he's hurt, wounded, lost in anger and fear, and resolve that anger in yourself, let go, and be on a higher vibration of love and compassion. Not easy to do in the moment, because you're just like, but it also helped me to understand something, and this is why the show's called Resolution. From my last show, which was the first aired live, and this is the second aired live, filmed and everything. I'm not here to teach anybody anything. That's a big thing. That's a wonderful thing to come to terms with and to acknowledge and to surrender to. I'm not here to teach you. I'm here to learn. I'm here to be a better me. I'm here to grow. I'm here to love. I'm here to understand fear and hate as much as love. But I'm definitely not here to teach anybody. And mouthing off to somebody that mouths off to me, or physically attacking somebody because you can, or even thoughts of that because you're angry, because you think that'll teach that person a lesson. That's not what I'm here for. But it helps me to understand January 6th, 2021. It helps me understand those people who are lost in fear and rage and anger. It certainly helps me to understand myself. And a lot of people I read, they say, allow emotions and thoughts to flow through you without judgment. Allow them to happen, to rise up and then release, and just be a watcher. Just observe your thoughts, observe your emotions, your vibrations. Just be a watcher, like you're watching a film, and don't judge them. Just let them flow through and watch them. And I did. I felt that anger, that hate, that need to hurt somebody. I felt it rise up inside me, and I let it go. And I talked about it instead of holding on to it. I talked about it with Jeff, and he's like, "Wow," So, and I've been going over some of the past shows where I'm talking about people and what I'm observing, cultural differences, passive aggressivity. I got a I got a chance finally to start meeting. I'd said in some earlier shows, I want to start meeting people from the African American culture and community here and hanging out there because I'm where I live is, and how I live is very shut off. And I'm in a studio pretty much all day working on stuff. And I don't get out and I don't go out. But one of the hosts here, Ken from Citizen Smith, has been dragging me out of my hole and dragging me around Portland, kicking and screaming sometimes, but it's been fun. Every time I've gone out with him, it's been great. And sometimes I go out with him when he interviews people on the street, and he's a very social person and very active in the community and very interested and puts himself out there in situations that I might not. And I get to run the camera work for him from time to time. So anyway, going out with him, did have been running into some people and being able to talk, and have met some artists, African American artists, Black artists, whatever, and it was wonderful. It's like, am I crazy, or is it just me, or am I feeling like a level of da da da? And they're like, oh no, brother, that's where you're at. Don't be fooled. You are, what you're feeling is legit. And I'm like, oh, thank God. I thought I was just being like, super, judgmental or, sensitive or something. And they're like, no, you're okay. I'm like, oh, it's so good to talk to my own, even my own. I don't think like that, but it's so good to talk to somebody that at least is on the same, is seeing what I'm maybe seeing. I don't need validation or approval. I do question myself every day in my thought process. And am I really just looking for things? And then that was wonderful to, and it centered me a little bit to know that there are people out there who understand what it is I'm seeing and can diagnose it and say, no, what it is you're seeing is this, this, and this. I'm like, oh, okay. There is people who live here may not know it, but y'all are really different. You're extra up here in Portland. And I'm just trying to get used to it. I'm just trying to you're invisible here. And I'm like, is it because I'm older? Is it because I don't have hair anymore? Why am I invisible here? Ego, oh, I need to be seen. No, you get smiles. So in the rare times somebody will walk by and smile and say hi, you're like, whoa, hi. You're like, wow, somebody actually looked at me and smiled and said hi. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. I'm used to this in New York. I'm not, but it's different here in Portland. So anyway, what it is what it is, and I'm good with it. And the resolution is to just let y'all be. And I'm not here to teach anybody. I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm not here to make social commentary on the status of the economic and socioeconomic structure here. Doesn't matter. It's not here to do that. I'm here to talk about interaction, as I said in my earlier shows, about relating, about, community. That's what the whole talkcastpdx.com is about. We're starting talkcastpdx.com. And the reason I even came on to do this, I don't do this. I'm not a talker. I'm not a podcaster. I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm a musician. By the way, I went and got my vocal cords scoped yesterday. Everything's perfect. They're like, you've got no problems down there, Mr. Lane. You're fine. I got it. Thank you, Portland. You got your doctors here. I will say the medical service here is unlike anything I've ever experienced. Amazing. Everyone I've seen so far, every doctor I've seen actually looks you in the eye, actually talks to you like a patient. I'm not used to that. I mean, I've had every kind of blood work, every kind of MRI, every kind of scan. I've had my whole body, every orifice checked. Your bill of health clean, and thank you, Portland, for that, for sure. I haven't done that in 10 years, actually taking care of myself and gone to check up and see if I have high blood pressure or God knows what else, so that's good. But, yeah, I'm not here to teach anybody. I'm just trying to learn. As I said in my earlier shows, I'd like to meet people I can talk with. And I am slowly. It doesn't happen overnight. I am meeting people, all kinds of different people, wonderful people that I can have great conversations with and interact with. So that's great. And Ken taking me out into the streets and discovered that Saturday under the bridge thing over the river fair or art canvases and set up. Wonderful, really good vibe. So yeah, and COVID is lessening and the masks are coming off, and yeah, it looks like bright future ahead. But still, I'm one of those people who likes to sit inside their head for a minute and really take measure of self. And the anger thing and the hostility thing, I know, no matter how subtle, is still in the background, isn't going to work for what it is I want to do going forward. So that's for me to deal with. But I just want to talk about on this show the resolution of and the surrender to those vibrations and letting them go. Surrender to them that they are there. A really great lady, Sultram Elion, out in Colorado, in Pagosa Springs, Colorado. She has a beautiful plot of land out there in the middle of a valley. She has these big metal teepees that are 50 feet wide and 100 foot high. And they put big fire in the middle, and they set 4 or 5 of them, and people sit in the middle like the Indians used to, and they smoke and they talk. Yeah, she was amazing, an amazing human being. It taught me a lot about sit your demons in front of you. She has a book out called Feed Your Demons. Wonderful book. Sit what you see as a demon. Close your eyes and see your problem and put it in a seat in front of you and talk to it and say to it, demon or energy or bad vibe, how have I offended you? How can I make this right between us? And you simply talk to your demons and you work it out with them. And then they turn from fiery red to light blue and float away. I thought it was a great visual image. So that's what we do. We deal with our inner selves every day, and being kind to ourselves does not come easy to some people. Speaking love to ourselves constantly does not come easy to some people. Denigrating self, defamatory remarks at yourself and whatever, that does come easy to some people. So that was what I had on my mind today that I wanted to get off my chest. Maybe there are people out there who feel the same way. A lot of people are talking about the struggles that people are having with depression and anger.
I think it's the anger. Justin here, by the way.
Yeah, thanks.
Chiming in just a little bit. You were talking about the anger thing. And, people have been cooped up for so long. I think they're having a hard time acclimating back into a sociable society, being able to. I think those fears are still lingering.
Yeah, that topped with past, relationships or past, things that happened to them. and then this isolation and seclusion, and and the internet doesn't help. And then we've come out of a dark 4 years. So yeah, that's what I'm picking up on, and I should just resolve myself to it and be okay with it, and just watch and not judge anymore, and not be questioning anymore. It doesn't matter. It is what it is. Allow people and things and life to flow, and just do your thing. If you are confronted with anger, or you feel anger inside, you know, try to be aware of it as it's happening, and try to breathe through it. That's the advice I'd give myself. Stay truly awoken. Stay truly conscious of where you're at all times. It's a discipline. So that's what I tell myself. As you're walking, be mindful of how you're feeling and thinking, and stay vigilant with that. Stay at the front of your mind. This energy of peace, of happiness, of joy, of centeredness. Yes, exactly, Justin.
We should have like incense burning and a gong behind you for your
but
show.
I will
gong.
Okay, so this week
I love it.
This week I will go get somebody that practices and really is in that thing on a serious level. I will get somebody to come on the show and have them talk to us about these things, and maybe we should do some shows like that for a minute, so we can all just kind of ease back into society. So anyway, that's me. That's all I really want to talk about. Resolution of anger in myself. And thank you for listening out there, those who are out there. And, anytime you want, you can get in touch with me here at talkcastpdx.com. Just go on the message board and say whatever, and I will definitely talk about it on the next show. I'm Ray Lane. This is Halfcast on talkcastpdx.com. And have a great day.